So, how would you even begin to map out the family tree of the entire universe? I mean, not just your great grandparents and not just the evolution of a single species, but the origins of absolutely everything. The stars, the concepts of time and death, elephants, fruit trees, all the way back to the very first spark of creation. How does a culture sit down and actually catalog the genesis of the cosmos? Well, today we're going to look at exactly how one ancient text pulled off this monumental task.
Welcome to this explainer. Today we're decoding an excerpt from the Sambhava Parva. It's this deeply fascinating section of the ancient Indian epic, the Mahabharata. And this text contains an incredibly dense, highly specific genealogy of the cosmos. Now, reading it on the page can honestly feel a bit overwhelming, kind of like looking at the raw code of the universe. But we're going to visually decode this ancient framework. We'll untangle the branches of this ultimate family tree together so you can see the brilliant, systematic way this epic explains the existence of our world.
And it all pivots around this one specific number, 33. Before we even get into the sprawling branches of animals and plants, the ancient writers anchored their cosmic math with exactly 33 primary gods. This number is huge because it instantly showcases the sheer volume and the mathematical precision of the creation myth we're about to explore. It's a beautifully ordered system, and keeping this number in mind is really going to help us understand how the universe was delegated. Okay, let's dive into this. To make sense of this massive cosmic catalog, we're breaking it down into 6 distinct domains. The spiritual sons of Brahman, cosmic architects, wives, stars and time, Dharma and Adharma, earthly ancestors, and finally, those 33 gods.
Section 1, Spiritual Sons of Brahman, the top of the tree.
Let's start at the very top of our cosmic family tree. Brahman is the ultimate self-created source here, and the text specifically highlights his 6 mind-born sons. They're the great Rishis, Marishi, Angiras, Atri, Pulastya, Pulaha, and Kratu. And listen, these aren't just wise men. They are literally the genetic wellsprings for incredibly diverse forms of life. Just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, the offspring of these 6 beings will eventually include everything from winged insects, lions and bears, to celestial monkeys, half-men, and mystical yakshas. The diversity of the entire world literally stems from these 6 individuals. But Brahman's creation methods were, well, they were pretty varied. The text tells us that the illustrious Rishi Daksha sprang directly from Brahman's right toe. And this is where the lineage gets fascinatingly strategic. Daksha had 50 daughters, described as having eyes like lotus petals. Now, because Daksha had no sons of his own, he made his daughters his putrikas. That was a specific designation, meaning the future children of these 50 women would belong not just to their husbands, but to Daksha's lineage as well. It was basically an ancient way to ensure his branch of the family tree would absolutely dominate the cosmos.
Moving on to Section 2, Architects of the Universe, Engineering the Cosmos.
So, we shift now from the original spiritual seeds of creation to the specific divine entities tasked with actually building and managing the mechanics of the cosmos, basically the construction crew. Central to this crew are the 8 Vasus. They're the grandsons of Manu, another son of Brahman. We have Dara, Dhruva, Soma, Aha, Anila, Anala, Pratyusha, and Prabhasa. In this mythology, these 8 figures serve as the foundational pillars of cosmic architecture. They are the essential elements and forces required for a functioning universe.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the specific job description of a figure named Viswakarman. He's the son of the 8th Vasu, Prabhasa, and his sister. Viswakarman is literally the eternal engineer. The text doesn't just casually call him a god. It explicitly defines him as the originator of 1,000 arts, the engineer of the immortals, and the constructor of celestial cars. The text even goes so far as to state that mankind is able to live specifically because of his inventions. It's just a really fascinating acknowledgement of technology and engineering as divine, foundational forces in the universe.
Section 3. Wives, Stars, and Time, the Celestial Clockwork. Building the universe isn't just about physical engineering. It's about setting things in motion, right? Remember Daksha and his 50 daughters from earlier? Well, he bestowed 27 of those daughters upon Chandra, also known as Soma, the moon. But these weren't just standard marriages. The text reveals that these 27 wives literally became the stars in the night sky. They are the Nakshatras and the yoginis, and they were employed specifically to indicate time and assist the courses of the worlds. So when ancient people looked up at the constellations, they weren't just seeing burning burning gas, they were looking at the daughters of Daksha functioning as the gears of a massive celestial clock. And speaking of time, we have to look at how time itself is personified here. Time, or Kala, is described as the illustrious son of Dhruva, one of those foundational 8 Vasus. But notice the definition here. Kala is uniquely known as the destroyer of the worlds. The ancient writers didn't just view time as some neutral measurement of passing days, they recognized it fundamentally as an unstoppable, ultimate force of destruction that slowly consumes all creation. Pretty intense, right?
Section 4. Dharma and Adharma, the cosmic balance.
Having set up the stars and time, the explainer now shifts to the creation of abstract human experiences. Visually, we can pit these two forces right against each other. Over on the left side, we have Dharma. Dharma came out of Brahman's right breast, acting as the dispenser of all happiness. His sons are the very things that make life worth living, Sama, Kama, and Harsha, which translate to peace, desire, and joy. The text says they support the worlds. But over on the right, we have a Dharma, representing sin and chaos. And the origin story for a Dharma is incredibly dark. The text states he was born when starving creatures first began to devour one another. Adharma's sons are Bhaya, Mahabhaya, and Mrityu, which means fear, terror, and death. It's such a profound way to structure a family tree, placing the psychological and moral realities of life right alongside the physical creation of stars and planets.
All right, Section 5, Ancestors of Earthly Creatures, touching down on Earth. And this brilliantly illustrates how we're zooming the camera all the way down from the celestial heavens directly onto the physical Earth. Instead of just a chaotic list of beasts, the writers categorized the specific mothers of every earthly species. The mother Kaki brought forth the crows, Sieni gave birth to hawks and vultures, the fair Suki is the mother of all parrots, Sarduli is the ancestor of lions and tigers, and Matungi is the mother of all elephants. They took the overwhelming, wild diversity of nature and organized it into a clean, satisfying family tree where every single creature has a specific named mythic ancestor.
And it even extends to the plants. A figure named Anala is listed specifically as the mother of the 7 kinds of trees yielding pulpy fruits: the date, the palm, the hintala, the tali, the little date, the nut, and the coconut. By anchoring this grand cosmic narrative with everyday items like dates and coconuts, the text connects your daily earthly life directly to the divine architecture of the heavens. It makes it all so relatable.
Section 6. The 33 Gods, the Final Tally.
So this is the top-level pantheon that ultimately governs this massive interconnected cosmos. Let's break down that number 33 we saw at the very beginning of the explainer. Those 33 primary gods are divided into very specific factions. You've got the 12 Adityas, the 11 Rudras, the 8 Vasus we discussed earlier, plus Prajapati and Vashatkara. If you do the math, 12 plus 11 plus 8 plus 1 plus 1 perfectly equals 33. It just shows how neatly and deliberately the ancient writers quantified and balanced the divine order of their universe.
We'll conclude our explainer today with this powerful promise straight from the source text. After detailing this massive genealogy, the Mahabharata states, "By listening to this, a man is fully cleansed of all his sins, and acquireth great knowledge, and finally attaineth to the first of states in afterlife." So, by tracing the branches of this cosmic family tree with me today, you haven't just learned about ancient history. According to the text, you've actually participated in a profound ritual of knowledge. The universe is incredibly complex, but as we've seen, it's also beautifully structured. Which kind of leaves you wondering, if you had to write the genealogy of absolutely everything you know today, where would your family tree begin?